How did Jackie Robinson change history? Introduction. The Ebbets Field stands were full on April 15, 1947. Brooklyn Dodger Jackie Robinson picked up his baseball bat. The crowd watched as the only African American in Major League Baseball, MLB, walked to the plate. Insults rang out from the other team's dugout. The Dodgers' general manager, Branch Rickey, had warned him this would happen. The words hurt, but Robinson had promised not to respond. He would play ball and let his bat do the talking. Many people took note of the great courage Jackie Robinson showed that day. His courage would make him a baseball legend and a champion for equal rights. The early years. Jack Roosevelt Robinson was born on January 31st, 1919, the youngest of 5 children in a poor Georgia family. The Robinson family moved to California when Jackie was a boy. There, he became known as a talented athlete in not one, but several sports. Jackie Robinson attended the University of California at Los Angeles, UCLA. He was a star on the school's football, track, basketball, and baseball teams. Robinson was the first student in the school's history to win special awards in 4 sports in a single year. In spite of this success, Robinson did not graduate from UCLA. The Robinsons had little money. He left school in 1941 to help support his family. Taking a stand. Robinson played semi-professional football after college. Then, in December 1941, the United States entered World War II. Like many young men at the time, Robinson was called up to serve in the U.S. Army. Robinson served at Fort Hood, Texas. One day in 1944, he and a group of soldiers got on an army bus. The bus was segregated. White soldiers sat in the front and black soldiers in the back. Yet Robinson knew he was no less a soldier than the white men. He refused an order to move to the back of the bus. For this, he was arrested. The army wanted to punish Robinson, but many people defended him. He was a good soldier who had only stood up for what was right. In the end, he was found not guilty. You're hired. After his time in the Army, Robinson worked at a Texas college coaching basketball. In 1945, he received a letter from the Kansas City Monarchs, a professional baseball team. They offered Robinson a contract to play with them for $400 a month. The Monarchs were part of the Negro Leagues. At that time, baseball was segregated. White and black athletes played in separate leagues. Robinson signed on to play for the Monarchs, thinking it might be a way to someday get into the all-white major leagues. Robinson showed everyone he was a skilled player. He caught the eye of Branch Rickey, general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Rickey felt that there should not be separate baseball leagues based on race. Instead, as he put it, professional baseball should be colorblind. He wanted the Dodgers to sign a player from the Negro Leagues, a first attempt to integrate Major League Baseball. Rickey knew that this player would not only have to be a great athlete, he would also have to show strong character in the face of abuse. In 1945, Rickey met with Robinson. Rickey offered to hire him on one condition. Robinson could not respond to any prejudice against him because of his race. A team of two. Plenty of times I wanted to haul off when somebody insulted me for the color of my skin, but I had to hold to myself. I knew I was kind of an experiment. The whole thing was bigger than me. Jackie Robinson. I cannot face my God much longer, knowing that his black creatures are held separate and distinct from his white creatures in the game that has given me all that I can call my own. Branch Rickey. Number 42 takes the field. On October 23, 1945, Jackie Robinson signed on to play for the Dodgers minor league team. Spring training for the team was held in Florida. There, Robinson had a taste of what he would face as MLB's first African-American player. He could not stay in the same hotels as the rest of the team. Other minor league teams refused to play because of Robinson. Opposing pitchers threw the ball at him. Even some of his teammates didn't want to play with him, punishing pitches. In his career, Robinson was hit by 72 pitches, which ranks him as 225 in the top 1,000 major league players hit by pitches. How many of those hits were intentional is anybody's guess. None of this abuse stopped Robinson. He played well enough to move up to the Dodgers the next year. Wearing number 42, Jackie Robinson took the field on April 15, 1947, before a crowd of more than 26,000 spectators. The Dodgers earned a victory that day, not only over the Boston Braves, but also over prejudice against African Americans. Another great steal. Jackie Robinson stole 197 bases in his MLB career. That's a lot. In 1955, Robinson made one of the greatest steals in baseball history. Leo Lennox was there. My father and I went to Game 1 of the 1955 World Series against the New York Yankees. In the 8th inning, Robinson was on third base. We saw him take a big lead and then head for home. The catcher was waiting for the ball as Robinson approached. The crowd was roaring. Robinson went into his slide and the catcher reached for the tag. Safe, called the umpire. Robinson did it. He stole home. Robinson also went on to have a great career. He was chosen Rookie of the Year in 1947. In 1949, he was voted Most Valuable Player in the league. Robinson was a fast runner who led the league in stolen bases. He helped the Dodgers win 6 league championships and a World Series victory. In 1962, he became the first African American to enter the Baseball Hall of Fame. His number, his day. In 1972, the Dodgers retired his uniform number 42 to honor Jackie Robinson. No other Dodger could use that number. In 1997, the number 42 was permanently retired from all Major League Baseball teams. The only time the number 42 is worn is on April 15th, the day of Robinson's first game in the major leagues. On that day, every player's uniform bears the number 42 in memory of the legendary Jackie Robinson. Beyond baseball. After retiring from baseball in 1957, Robinson joined the coffee maker and fast food chain Chock full of Nuts. In doing so, he became the first Black vice president of a U.S. national company. In 1964, he co-founded the Freedom National Bank, which grew to become one of the largest Black-owned banks in the United States. 6 years later, he launched a construction company. Robinson also became a civil rights leader who continued to work for equality for all people. He died in 1972 from heart problems and diabetes complications. Today, in the United States, people of color have more opportunities in the world of sports than ever before. We all have number 42 to thank for that.